mind reading. Would that work? I need a volunteer. Well, it's a little tough to pick a volunteer, so I'll just do a mind reading trick for every one of you. Look into my eyes, and I will tell you what you're thinking. I know exactly what you're thinking. You're all saying to yourself, what on earth is an Orthodox Jewish rabbi doing in a room with nearly 8,000 Christians?
I never will run for president.
Do you know why? Article 2, Section 1 of the Constitution. No person except a natural born citizen of the United States. And ladies and gentlemen, as you heard in the kind introduction, I immigrated to this country, and later in what was one of the proudest days of my life, I became a naturalized American citizen, and in so doing, I laughed. I thought to myself, I'm sure I can never become president of the United States. Maybe, but not president. Idea from. Do you think they did it? It says very clearly in the fifth book of the five books of Moses, what I call the Torah, the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 17, when you select a king from a select a king, thou shalt not select a king from a stranger. Ancient Jewish wisdom says the Bible is not written for slow people who have trouble catching on. Things don't get repeated for no reason at all. If you would have told us from among your brothers, it would have said, you've got to select a king of Israel from among the Jews. Why this repetition? And not from a stranger, I could have figured that out. And ancient Jewish wisdom says that it also excludes a convert to Judaism. The one and only benefit not available to a convert. A mysterious coincidence, exactly the same benefit or right not available to a converted American. No accident at all. The founder said that if this was good for Israel, and we are trying to build a nation like Israel, then it's good for us as well. And it found its way into the second article of the Constitution. And the entire structure of government, where did that come from? It was the idea that the structure of the government into the judiciary, and into the legislative, and into the executive. What a brilliant piece of genius. We should really thank the founder of the by just looking at their writings. They took it from Isaiah chapter 33 verse 22. For the Lord is your judge, the Lord is your lawgiver, and the Lord is your king. He will save us. Judge, lawgiver, king, judiciary, legislative, executive. Now that was how it was. And the day after the Declaration of Independence was adopted, a committee was formed to build a seal for the United States. And the committee was made up of Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, and Thomas Jefferson. And the seal was the promised land following a pillar of cloud that was leading them, and the inscription beneath said, is obedience to God. It was adopted, but you find the story very clearly in the papers of the Congress. That is who we are as a nation. A nation that recognizes that the Bible is not a collection of myths and legends. Is our blueprint. The Bible fuels our faith. And the Bible powers the politics and the passion of our politics. Remember that politics is nothing more than the practical application of our all of us that homosexual marriage does not become the law of the land. Let me tell you that for every logical argument we can bring to show that it's a very bad idea, the other side, spreading a stain of secular socialism, will bring three better arguments that it's a very good idea, and then it's simply our argument against theirs. We believe that killing an unborn child is a terrible idea, and for every good logical explanation we can give as to why it's a terrible idea, the other side, spreading their sordid stain of secular socialism, will find better arguments, and then it's nothing but their arguments against ours. In the final analysis, we have to have the courage to say that the reason homosexual marriage is something we oppose is because the Bible says so. Find the courage and the strength to say that the reason we oppose killing unborn children is because the Bible says so. It's not that hard. We just have to get used to that. Let's give it a try. Why is homosexual marriage a bad idea? You see, it isn't hard. Why do we oppose killing unborn children? It isn't hard, is it? And the nice thing and there will be many people who say, how dare you bring your beliefs into politics? And we respond and we say, happily, Bible believers still get the vote in the United States of America. And so to those who indignantly object to us voting our values, I have three words. Welcome to democracy. Because he alone is a individual that will be steamrolled by those who would spread the sordid stain of social secularism. But we're not alone, my friends. We are brought together. Look at us. We are brought together by the Family Research Council. We're brought together and blessed by an organization that provides us with the mechanisms of courage. And let me tell you about the mechanisms of courage for just a moment in my gratitude and appreciation to FRC and to Tony Perkins and the leadership. I'll tell you something that Ezra Stiles of Yale University knew, and something that William Bradford of the Mayflower knew, and something that English Mather in New England knew, and that is that there is a strange phrase in Hebrew that the King James Bible translated in a very pretty and poetic way, but in a way pretty is absolutely lovely. And that is on that self-same day. The phrase is used three very critical times, and it's easy to see what is emerging. But one time it's used is chapter 12 in the book of Exodus. God says to the children of Israel at the time to leave. And the children of Israel look up, the sun is high in the sky, and they say, how about we go at about 2 a.m. tonight, 2 hours after midnight? And they look at each other and they say, let's hope God goes for that, because our Egyptian neighbors have been promising that they will never let us go. If they cannot hold us as slaves, they'll kill us. And we're just a little nervous about that. So God, if you don't mind, how about if we postpone the departure till they go to bed, nobody notices, they'll sneak out under cover of darkness, as is appropriate for slaves. And God says in Hebrew now, in the Hebrew that is your legacy, that etzem hayom haseh. Now I'm going to translate it exactly what it says. And you'll see why the very good translators in the King James Bible put up their hands and they said, we better just say on that self-same day, because the translation makes no sense. But it will. The translation is, on the bone of that day. Whoa, on the bone of that day, the children of Israel were led out of Egypt by God on the bone of that day. What does that mean? You've got to know what a bone means. A bone is what converts us from a blob of jelly on the ground into a human being that stands erect and faces his challenges head on. That's called a skeleton. It's a system of bones. Those bones are what provide our inner strength and our inner courage. Bones is a metaphor for courage. And just like when a bone is visible, it's pretty bad news. In the same way, when courage is too visible, it becomes arrogance, and then it's any good. No. But a quiet inner ability to stand tall and face challenges, trials, or tribulations head on the bone of that day. Here's another type of happiness. God says to Abraham, I'd like you to circumcise yourself. Abraham says, say what? And God says, no, I don't need that. I'd like you to do it right now on that day. Abraham says, God, you've got to understand. Of People magazine, they show pretty people on the cover, and they don't allow any mutilation of the body. They say the body is all there is. There is no spirit, it's only the body. Yes, it's the love circumcision. No way. So Abraham says, God, it's going to take me a little while to get to Canaan so we can do a party. Let's do the circumcision. Like tonight, when nobody notices. God says, you don't understand. I want a crowd. I love an audience. On the bone of that day, Abraham circumcised himself and his son. It had to be done with courage, facing the challenges head on. And the last instance was Noah getting into the ark. You don't believe there's ever going to be a flood. But if there is, you claim in that ark. Going nowhere. If you're drowning, so are you. God says, time to go in the ark. Says, Lord, I've got a last few packing. You know what it's like to always forget something. I'll be ready about midnight. God says, no, I want them to watch you going in, and I want you to look them in the eye, stand erect on the bone of that day. No, friends, that is what we get from biblical belief. Study it, know it, love it, changes your life. Don't let a day go by without a little Bible study. And if you need help, go to your pastor. And if you need study it, know it, and love it, because it is the source of strength, of faith, and of courage. We're engaged in a battle right now with a fanatical, fierce, formidable foe. And if God forbid they should never fall beneath their feet, I want to tell you that it will only be because they believe the wrong thing with more faith and commitment than we believe the right. Speech. It went on for quite a while, longer than speaking this afternoon. And Moses gathered everybody together, just as we have been gathered together here for a magnificent conference. Thank you, FRC, because what is going to happen to you, the things you're going to do between now and Sunday, are vitally important. But I assure you that the things you're going to do after Sunday are desperately critical. And you're going to need a good dose of that biblical courage. And so I will tell you what Moses said to Joshua as he assured Joshua that he would succeed in the desperately critical months that lay ahead. The land of Israel, reclaiming the promised land. And ladies and gentlemen, when you leave here on Sunday, each and every one of us, we will be reclaiming our promised land. And Moses' words to Joshua are just as valid today as they were then. Moses said to Joshua, and why don't I tell it to you in the Hebrew? Because it sounds so good. And the Hebrew is your legacy. Said Moses to Joshua, Chazak ve'ematz. Be strong